Yo, people, welcome back to On Track GP. Matisse in the building and joined by brother Jamie for
How we doing,
breaking
Matisse?
news. Bro, how are you doing first? Let's just pretend like nothing's even going on. How are you doing, bro?
I'm not, you have to excuse my look. I am literally under the car working at the moment, but I've jumped on the call to discuss this because this is huge. But how are you doing, man?
Bro, I'm absolutely shocked. I can't believe what I've
You're
just read.
shocked.
I am. I mean, I've on the channel, I've kind of said, okay, how fun would it be if he ended his career at Ferrari, like Schumacher, or at McLaren, and obviously all the greats always go to Ferrari. And I thought, okay, maybe this would be an ambition of his, but I never thought that would be possible until we spoke about a certain Carlos Sainz obviously only getting a 1 year extension, and then boom.
And then it happened. I mean, it kind of proceeded one thing after the other. Like Sainz, I want 2 years. I'm only getting a year. And then there was clearly stuff going on in the background with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hamilton, for you guys that are watching, that are like, what are they talking about? Hamilton will leave Mercedes and join Ferrari for the 2025 Formula One season. That is breaking news reported by everybody and anybody who is trustworthy. It is facts. It is not a joke. And I mean, first of all, the first person I want to hear from is Hamilton, of course, and I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about this, and obviously Toto Wolff and everybody. But to start with, what does this mean for Hamilton's final season at Mercedes? What's the mentality going in? Because he is lead driver with Russell as the second, but if he's going and it's known that he's going now, is that balancing out the playing field in terms of orders and instructions?
I think pressure's off for Hamilton. It's not that of a surprising move in terms of the team, because he has been linked to Ferrari for a while. And I said on the podcast to you guys, because me and you had this discussion because Joe refuses to talk about it, but Hamilton to Ferrari was on the cards in 2021. I think there was that discussion. So it's taken 3 years to get it done, but I kind of see it. I think pressure's off for Hamilton at Mercedes this year. He can do what he wants. I would love to see him challenge. Genuinely would love to see him challenge. And what this does speak to me, though, is the W15 not competitive? Is that where we're at?
It doesn't, for all of the kind of excitement and, oh, we've got it right this time, we've changed. Sounds like a broken relationship. I've heard this so many times from Mercedes that they've got their act together. And this move from Hamilton at this current moment, before the season even starts, testing and all these things, the Netflix series hasn't even dropped and he's already gone. Like, this doesn't bode well for Mercedes actually going back to the top, because no driver on the precipice of a record-breaking title leaves ship. Before
exactly that. It says to me that where James Allison was saying it's a 99% revolution of the car and everything is looking towards being as competitive, it says to me that Hamilton has looked at that and gone, 2024 is a nothing season and I need to be in a competitive car for 25 and then rule change for 26.
Yeah. Wow, fascinating. So now we know Ferrari's lineup for a couple of years' time, and that means they must be going in the right direction. Or is this an Alonso move from Alpine to Martin, where we're not sure if it's going to work? We're not sure if there's going to be any success at the end of this, but he's been maybe offered the big money. I don't know.
Hamilton takes a lot of prestige with him anyway, but on top of that, I think he's only going if he gets comparative to Leclerc. It's not going to be a case of he's going to play second fiddle. He is going, I would imagine it's competitive machinery. They're going to be taking on Red Bull. Now, everyone's aware of this phrase, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. So for Hamilton, it's, I've done 3 years of Mercedes not being competitive. Nothing has changed. I've got to change something. So if he goes to Ferrari, they're not competitive. He picks up a paycheck and fine. He goes to Ferrari, they're super competitive, and him and Leclerc charge Red Bull and potentially Red Bull too. Like, that to me makes a lot of sense. So it would have been a better move if he'd done it a couple of years ago and jumped ship then. But yeah, I see it, and I'm there for it. I think it's going to be a great move for him.
I think this makes the sport far more entertaining now, because this is like something that is like unknown now. We don't know what's coming. And with Hamilton, I think he wanted to pay his loyalty back to Mercedes for all the years of success, building that car, but he's done that now. Like that has been and gone. He's given them opportunity after opportunity to compete at the front of the grid. They haven't been able to give him the car to do so. And now, you know, there's got to be a price to pay. And I always said, as a Hamilton fan, I feel like Ferrari is such a prestigious team that all of the greats have driven at. You know, Senna, Schumacher, you know, Alonso's been there, even Raikkonen, all of the world champions have been
all
there.
of the world champions have been there.
Like, it's incredible how many. Even Verstappen at some point I'd look at it to say, are you going to go to Ferrari towards the end of your career? Because they are that
It's not
team.
a bad twilight career, is it, to go to Ferrari?
It's a brilliant way to end. I think him being at McLaren, then Mercedes, and then going off and ending it at Ferrari. And then if he brings, this is the legacy part. If he makes it his record-breaking world title and brings a world title back to Ferrari, which is something that's plagued them for so long, that is the perfect way to end your career. That is the pinnacle. There's no topping that.
I think so. And you've hit the nail on the head in terms of the fact that loyalty-wise, he has paid his dues. And also, he capitalized in a massive way when he moved from McLaren to Mercedes. He got the best machinery at the best possible time, and he's a fantastic driver. There's no one's going to complain about that. I think in my mind, he is now going 8th world title at Ferrari. Like that might be the thought process here, because he's not going there to be number 2. He's not going there to be second fiddle. Like he is a multiple world champion. Like, it might be the fact that that's where the prestige comes from, and that's where the title comes from.
Yeah, no, 100%. And now I'm thinking about the fallout, which is Sainz, which is
big.
He knows
he's out the door.
He knows he's out the door. Like, you've been told. We know you're second driver. We know you're on a running contract with, I don't know what phone company you want to bring up here, but he's basically on that pay as you go mode at this point. Where does he go? I mean, is it going to be Audi?
It'll be Sauber, won't it? So it'll be Sauber. That's a great shout in terms of
2026. Yeah.
I mean, it could be the Sauber's lineup is Ocon and Sainz for 25.
Okay. Yeah, true.
Ocon is top of their list. So I know the whispers are Hülkenberg because he's the only German driver on the grid.
Yeah.
But Ocon, I mean, he's not happy or unhappy at Alpine, but he's going to be second fiddle with Gasly. Gasly was on the rise. So I think Sainz and Ocon could be a great Sauber partnership there.
It could be. Now that would be incredible. And I think, listen, as much as Hülkenberg, yes, German obviously fits the brand. Those two are better drivers in terms of the potential and going forward. So it makes the most sense.
Completely agree. But that's more a prestige thing of German constructor, German driver, that sort of thing. But I think that might be a very 1950s mindset if we can throw that away. 100%. But then also it kind of begs the question: who partners Russell now? That's an interesting one.
Now, I think if the way I'm looking at it is that the only option is maybe you either go experienced or like an Alonso. If it doesn't work out, Aston Martin this season, which is a risk, or you go back to the youth, or you go to the youth and you promote Russell as lead driver. But he has to prove this season he's ready. That's the key. And then you bring in a younger driver that's coming through from F2, one of the talents, maybe even a Liam Lawson. I don't know. But
this season gloves are off because Hamilton's out the door. He's going to Ferrari. So the gloves are off for Russell. He can do what he wants with this. He doesn't have to. There's no obeying team orders for the sake of it. But what about Alex Albon?
I do like he is in the upwards trajectory. He's on the ascendancy.
He's not tied into any constructor, like as in he's not built to them. So he's gone to Williams because he didn't have a seat, and he's done a great job at Williams. So could it be that Alex Albon, 25, and we've got Albon and Russell, and also British lineup?
Yeah, and Williams to Mercedes is one of the easiest jumps anyone makes in their career.
That's
Something that happens so
classic jump.
It's a classic jump. Wow. This is
interesting. I think George Russell was in contract extension talks anyway, and I think that was obviously with the view that Hamilton was coming to the end, Russell is on the rise. I know we've had our chats on the podcast about our different feelings towards Hamilton and Russell. Literally the first chat you and I had was, I think Russell's better than Hamilton. So
you said that? Oh God.
I think both you and Joe had a problem with that one, but
this season we're going to see now.
this is huge in terms of it's a lot of there's a lot of characters on the grid that are winding down their career, but some of them for different reasons. Like Hamilton and Alonso are winding down their career with "I want another title," and that's huge. Whereas Bottas and drivers that are hitting that sort of 30-35 mark are sort of going, "Oh, well, I'm just going to pick up a paycheck." So for this, I think this is the perfect time for Hamilton and Ferrari to go, right, you've done the zero pod thing. You had a terrible setup. You've done the best you could with that car, and you still beat us in the constructors. Come do it for us.
Yeah. Bro, I've never seen such shake-up. This has made
I think it's great.
It's brilliant. And remember, because you was thinking that the next couple of seasons were going to be so straightforward. They probably still will be, but at least we've got shake-up.
I mean, Perez hasn't been sacked, so
no. but at least we've got shake-up because there was no real movement on the grid too much this summer. This winter, and it doesn't look like it's going to be honest. Everybody looks pretty set in their seats. So this was needed for 2025. That's for sure.
I think silly season starting a little bit sooner isn't a bad thing. No. I think it will ask questions for Leclerc as well, because Ferrari were building a lot of stuff at Maranello around him. He's got, I think the talks of his contract were to 29. So they were already saying you have another 5-year deal, which would mean that you will be the only confirmed driver past 28, because Verstappen is the longest contract at the moment. So that to me asks the question, are they still going to build it around Leclerc? Is it a case of all the structure is still going to be, or is it now, right, with the changes coming in, we've got two drivers that we both need equal credence?
I mean, like you said earlier, if as we end on this, I mean, if Hamilton's going to go to Ferrari, he's got to go on terms where he is equal at least to Leclerc, because in terms of stature, he is clear of Leclerc in terms of what he's done in the sport. And we always thought in the Sainz announcement, okay, this means that they're building it more in a Red Bull model, which is they're going to have a clear lead driver and they're going to favor this guy and they're going to bring in a clear secondary. They have said, nope, we are not doing that.
Yeah. And I love it as well because it keeps Hamilton in the sport. And that talk of twilight years and not needing to be in the sport, I completely disagree. I think this is great. This is a fantastic example of the seat wasn't there just to fill a hole, to fill a gap. He's actually gone, I will take Sainz's seat, thank you very much. And I think it's going to be great. And I don't know how long the contract's going to be, but I hope he's there for the new rules as well. I hope
yes.
And if we have Leclerc and Hamilton as Ferrari's line up until 29, that's amazing. I would be very excited about that.
I can't wait to see Hamilton in Ferrari gear. That for me is just going to be brilliant, guys.
I genuinely thought it was never going to happen. I genuinely thought that's not it.
Listen, you are going to see me from 2025 wearing Ferrari gear on that pod.
You can't do that. Joe already does that.
No, Joe, either your driver Sainz is leaving. As far as I'm concerned, you better hand over the gear. Hand over the gear. I'm coming in.
This says more about your loyalty issues than anything else, Matisse.
No, I'm loyal to Hamilton and the British drivers, Norris and I love Piastri, to be fair as well. McLaren still the sister team.
You missed Albon off that British list again.
Yeah, I know. But he's got to make a move to a series. We can't be out here playing around at the.
Well, like I say, Albon to Mercedes is a big shout. I think that might just be the one.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. What
likewise, Matisse. Thank you.
Incredible, guys.
It's great news. It's loads to talk about.
It's brilliant news. If you don't understand Formula One and you're new to the sport, this is the equivalent of Messi moving to Real Madrid. I don't know how else to put it. Make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe, guys. and we will see you on the next show. Big up your damn selves in a bit, people.
Cheers, guys.
Peace.
See you later.